Victims want to know when they can get their money. Seems like a very simple question. Mm-hmm. He said, basically, they don't. All this money are going to nonprofits, and then nonprofits will take care of making sure the money's distributed. Initially, they gave $50 million to about 120 nonprofits. And I looked at these nonprofits, and one of them said, we help mobile home parks. And there were 2 mobile home parks in the Palisades, all low income. Mm-hmm. And so I contacted the people there. They had never received any money. They had never heard of that.
You are well connected in your community, and you don't know anybody who has received fire aid money.
That's correct.
If you're a nonprofit, you would just have to fill out a simple, very simple questionnaire.
6 questions.
Uh-huh. What do you make of the vetting process?
I think they're not helping the victims at all.
If you're a victim, and there are several who are probably watching tonight who lost their home like yourself, where do you go from here?
Hopefully with people like you who are bringing it to the attention of America, really, because we have all these people I know in the Midwest where I'm from who said, we want to give money, where do we give it? How can we help the people? This fire aid money is not helping the people. It's helping nonprofits, many of them who have executives that are getting a 6-figure salary. The money is not going to the victims that you wanted the money to go to.
Hey, you gonna have a Pam?
Who did I tell you to wait on him to pay? Keep your eyes open in case something transpires. I'm $1 bill. Shut down. Pay no country bomb nothing. Nothing.
Right in the heart with a silver bullet.
Yeah. I think they plotting on man. Don't wipe their feet when they enter the lab. I feel a cold stare.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement, still moving. Subscriber died trying. You see the thumbnail. More importantly, you saw the clip. Excuse me. Non-profit and for profit, right? This ain't nothing new. I'm in my 40s, so I remember Hurricane Katrina. It started becoming a scandal. People recently, they talk about BLM, and I get it. But a lot of the times when there's a natural disaster, sometimes it's better off that people just help people. And this is why, ironically, you saw some celebrities, and I've seen predominantly athletes do this, where they'll start up their own charity and give stuff out directly to people. And I'm going to backtrack a little bit because I remember, I want to say, I forgot the other person's name, but Peyton Manning, somebody else. Is it Peyton Manning or Master P or somebody like that? They or Tyler Perry. When Hurricane Katrina happened in New Orleans, they were sending supplies and and I want to say Peyton Manning is one of the people that I'm pretty sure that he was like, look, I'm giving you $1 million. Just tell me where it's going. Like, what are y'all getting out of that? Give me an itemized list of where the money's going. They was like, no. He's like, okay, well, I ain't giving you nothing. And so when it comes down to tragedy, natural disasters, unfortunately, in America, nonprofits don't really care about the people. That's not what they're set up for. Like, part of it is like you're supposed to only you can be a nonprofit, but you only got to spend somewhere between 5 and 10% on the people you're actually supposed to be helping. So the nonprofit hustle been happening for years. I forgot the guy name. He had a nonprofit. I forgot which natural disaster it was, but they chased him down to the point they caught him on the news having a breakdown, running down the street naked because he had got caught. Because normally people in nonprofits don't get caught because they're anonymous. You get what I'm saying? They're kind of anonymous people. So now what you're seeing is people are really addressing this because there are so many rungs in society where these organizations are saying that they're helping people, but really they're not. So, like, even some of the things that aren't necessarily natural disasters, some of these government programs that are supposed to, the government gave people X amount of money, as a grant or whatever to take care of X amount of things that they set out to do, and they ain't do none of that stuff, or they did the bare minimum and kept the money and ran off. Just I'm out. You don't see it helping the community. They've had nonprofits who's supposed to help homelessness don't help the homeless. You know what I'm saying? Like this, they help people who lost their home in a fire. And think about it. And I hate to say it this way, especially with natural disasters, you got people who they're fighting with the insurance company, and then on the back end, they're going to these nonprofits for help, and then they realize, oh, these nonprofits screwing me too. So, in my worst, yeah, like in one of my worst adversities in life, when I think I should be covered, I'm getting screwed over by this corporation, and now I'm getting used and fleeced by this corporation over here. And it's sad that people are like this woman is older, maybe 50s, 60s, and she has to talk about this. And it's crossed her mind like, oh man, people are getting played. Like, yeah, it's been like that. It's been like that. Some of these people, like some of the, do you remember when, I'm saying, like, I'm not talking to a lady, but do you remember when the pandemic happened and they were giving money to businesses, nonprofits, blah blah blah, and one of the businesses I want to say was like the Lakers, because a lot of times these NBA teams and NFL teams, if I'm not mistaken, they're listed as nonprofits. If I'm not mistaken, Roof Chris, nonprofit. People get these listings, and they benefit from manipulating the system. So now you have a situation where society has to go start pointing out, hey man, this is effed up. But do people really care? No. And the worst part is a lot of times people are forgotten. Like, I remember out here, there was a flood out here years ago. And yeah, man, I don't even like, I ain't like that time. But most people didn't have flood insurance because they weren't in the flood zone. So you had people, denied, people had to start from scratch a lot of times on their own. And I never forget just the stench. You go in certain neighborhoods, the mold, the stench of the people who had to cut their walls and cut the sheetrock out their walls and start doing everything all over again because it was, in some places it was high, in some places it was low. Some places didn't get affected, but a lot of places did. And I remember I think partially because of what happened with Katrina years prior, and a lot of people from Louisiana moving to Texas, I remember, they knew the nonprofit thing was like, nah, don't let these people scam you. So that's when I remember seeing a lot of athletes and stuff out here like, look, we're going to go do it. We're going to do it hand in hand. People, the military was involved, the people was involved, the church was involved. And I remember volunteering at the church at the time, not just donating, but doing other stuff. Like, because unfortunately, the stereotype of nonprofits is they don't care about the people. The people are just a necessity that needs to be used. You get what I'm saying? And the wealth of the nonprofits are just cold blooded because, hey man, it's a hustle. And are there people in it for the right reasons? Yeah, yeah. But there are too many people who aren't. There are far too many people who like, hey, I'm finna get this money, and can't nobody stop it because you know it's legal, and that sucks. Because you gotta think about it. They got kids out here who probably, um, how can I say this? Kids have been adopted, you know, or been in the system. There are programs that are nonprofits to help them kids. And when them kids turn 18, they just chuck them outside like, nonprofit, nothing. Getting money from the state to take care of them, chuck them out with nothing in their pocket. Like I said, the homelessness thing, people on drugs, chucking them out. People handicapped, you know, using people as this is the story to tell. Like, we helped this one person, yeah, but you deny helping 100 other people. So it's not cool anymore because people are starting to figure it out. And unfortunately, I hate to say this, I wouldn't be surprised if people find out who runs these nonprofits in the same situation that happened to that CEO in healthcare. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm gonna leave it at that. Tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.